every year, every offseason, some team feels like they're being wrong because some other team does something really well that they haven't figured out to defend or do. So they decide that, you know what, we're going to ban it because that's an unfair and that we always have to face it. We don't know what to do about it. And it's basically a child throwing a tantrum in the cereal aisle because he can't get fucking Frosted Flakes. His mom only buys Corn Flakes, all right? And yet, the Tush Push came 2 votes away from being banned in the NFL. It was a 22-10. They needed the Green Bay Packers proposal needed 24 votes to pass, and 10 teams refused to let that happen. The 10 teams included the New England Patriots, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and Tennessee Titans. All kept the Eagles right where they needed to be, tush pushing their way to victory. And it also helped that Jeffrey Lurie brought in the one, the only, most revered center in Eagles history, Jason Kelce, to speak on the Eagles' behalf about how this is a football play and it's no more dangerous than any other football play that I have to go out there and defend and run for. All of that and more came down. They even had Stephen Jones, part of the Dallas Cowboys organization. I believe he is part of the Jones family. Obviously, his last name is Jones. Said, hearing Jason Kelce talk made me feel like it was just any other play, and it was no more dangerous or any other way. So now, the Eagles do exactly what you do when someone tries to take away your toy and they get nothing out of it. They post a meme, they post videos, and of course, the first thing that is posted is them doing the tush push against who? The Green Bay Packers, which is the biggest fuck you can do to somebody when they try to take something away from you. Is make sure when you post something, it is them getting it done on them. All right? 26-minute video of the tush push. Now, I love the play. I don't understand why every time I see a quarterback turn around and hand a football off on a 3rd and short or a 4th and 1, hell, 2nd and 1, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Because anyone can do this. Anyone can do this, and we'll get into it later. But I'm going to go to Chris first on this one, because Chris, I want to hear your opinion on this. The tush push obviously is one of the key components of the Eagles' offensive game plan. It has kept them really in games at times when the offense just isn't clicking because they're able to pick up these very critical yards in critical situations. So how do you feel the tush push remaining in the NFL come the 2025 season?
Personally, I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I think I'm kind of on that same realm where I do think a lot of it has to do with you're not able to do it. You haven't figured out how to do it. So the best way to keep them from being able to do it because they've figured out how to master it is to try to get it eliminated, right? And we see this every year going into, teams trying to change different rules. And normally it's all because they're impacted by something that this specific team did. So now they're trying to change the rules so that it doesn't happen to them again. Now I've listened to a lot of podcasts as of the last day or so about it. I know there's been a lot when it came to like trainers and things like that who had issues with it. Who had, they said it's a lot of it is with the manner in which they're doing the actual play. Apparently, I think they're going too low, and that could cause like the force of the impact is supposed to cause a huge issue. Obviously, it hasn't as of yet. So from everything that I read and I listened to, is they're saying the biggest issue and maybe the reason why it didn't necessarily get passed is that there wasn't enough evidence really for them to say this. It's such a small amount that they had to look at, and there hasn't really been any significant issues or like injuries for them to be able to just say, hey, like look at this play, look at this time that this person basically got completely had to end their career over it, because that hasn't happened yet. And I'm not wishing that for anybody, but a lot of people feel like that may be a huge reason as to why. But I agree. I think Jason Kelce and his love for this particular move that he continuously had. I mean, if you're going to ask somebody to ban something, why not bring that one person who has been playing it for majority of his career to explain to you exactly how it feels and how it goes? Because you never saw him got hurt from it, right? You've never seen him be impacted, or that the person that he was going up against be impacted by it. So why wouldn't he, right? So then you look into what Jason Kelce actually showed. So his presentation actually included using game clips specifically, highlights the mechanic of the play and how the safety concerns look. And there really isn't a ton. And a lot of people feel like, oh, this shouldn't even be considered a football move. Like it's more of just like some rosy thing they just put together and don't realize the amount of time and effort that they go through in their in their trainings when they're going through the process of actually, getting ready for games, that they're continuously working on it. So it's not something that just comes out of the blue and they're like, oh yeah, let's just go do this. No, they've been working on this for a very long time. So quite honestly, respect to the teams that decided not to vote against it. Those specifically 10 teams. I think the epic fuck you from the Philly IG team was fan fucking tastic. Literally, the first one was push on, and against that specific team, fucking fantastic, like chef's kiss. But yeah, ultimately, I can see them maybe in the next year or two. I do unfortunately feel like this may come back and it may end up passing to where it does get banned. But me, I don't necessarily have an issue with it. As of right now, I haven't really seen other than the Super Bowl, and because it was a Chiefs team, who clearly got hurt or maybe may have been impacted in some type of way. I haven't seen anything of any of the games that I've watched where there's been any indication that based off this tush push that somebody came out of the game and were severely impacted by it. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the tush push being allowed.
Yeah, I mean, and Art Rooney II came out and said he's a Pittsburgh Steelers owner. He was like, it's not the end of the world that it didn't get banned. I was for it, but it's not going to change anything, right? And just so we're clear, also, Jason Kelce came out and said part of his presentation that you mentioned was like, if you told me all I had to do was run 80 tush pushes to play in the NFL next season, I'd come out of retirement gladly right now to run 80 tush pushes. He's like, it's the easiest thing in the world for me. And then you look at the fact that the Packers had to revise their original proposal because the original proposal was purely for the tush push. And it got a 16-16 when it was tabled. So they were really far away from it initially. They actually changed the verbiage before this most recent vote to where it was literally no offensive player can assist the runner except by blocking opponents. That was the one that went 22-10. So that wasn't even the tush push one. They had to revise that to be able to try to get the votes to where at any point in time, so that all those plays where you see a runner kind of get stood up and an offensive lineman comes in behind him, helps move the pile, those plays would be dead. And that was sort of the thing that was actually being pursued here, more so than the tush push. But, Sammy, you were high on the Eagles from the start last year. You were high on them, and I feel like you probably have the most enjoyment from the fact that the tush push stays. So I want to hear your perspective on this, purely just because I feel like it was a key component for why you picked them like you did.
Yeah, I mean, the tush push obviously mattered a lot, but really it's down to one thing, a couple things actually. One, the QB who's doing the tush push, right? It's Jalen freaking Hurts. Okay, I've seen this man squat like 600 pounds, like. His legs are like, I don't want to, okay, let's not get too deep into that, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Okay, that's number one.
Say it, number two, it, Sammy. He be thick.
No, he's not. Oh, Christ. I gotta watch what I say sometimes.
Sammy, it was more pause worthy by the fact that you didn't say anything. His legs are like, and then you just like
tree trunks, bro.
If you would have just said what you were gonna say, it would have been way less.
No, because I said his legs, and I was thinking of a word, and it's like when you're thinking of a word and you pause for that long. Yes, exactly. And also the hand. Movement. My point is that Jalen Hurts is a very, very strong man, okay, especially in his base. So you have that. And then the other thing, the offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line has been like a staple of their team since 2018? This has been a good offensive line for we're coming close to a decade. So I don't understand teams trying to just get rid of the tush push. But here are the teams that tried to ban the tush push. Okay, obviously every NFC East team, bunch of haters. Of course they did. The Cowboys, the Giants, and the Commanders. But here's a couple teams that I don't understand. Here's the team that I don't understand decided to vote to ban it. The Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry. You mean to sit here and tell me the Buffalo Bills literally tried to punch their way into the Super Bowl using this tush push. It didn't work. And since it didn't work for you, now the other team can't have it? First of all, that's completely shameless from the Buffalo Bills organization. Second of all, the fact that you use that move with an even bigger, stronger man there, it makes no sense. It makes little to no sense. Maybe not that much stronger. He's definitely bigger. Okay, he's like what, 6'6"? That man's a tank.
Bigger.
Okay,
yeah, bigger, maybe not stronger. Bigger, definitely.
Yeah, bigger for sure. So the fact that you can't push him over, you're mad at that. That doesn't make any sense to me. This is at the end of the day a football play, and football, quite frankly, at its grittiest, toughest form. Okay, we have people talking about how the game is soft. How you can't hit anybody anymore. The tush push is really a battle of the trenches, which people claim to like. You claim to like it. Okay, the tush push is a play for you because it's a battle of the trenches. And it's not like the tush push works every single time. Okay, it works most of the time. It does. But that's mainly because of the variables I just mentioned. Jalen Hurts, the offensive line. It might not work for a team with a mediocre offensive line, i.e. the Buffalo Bills, right? So at the end of the day, it is ridiculous to me that this play was even, that the attempt was even there to ban it. But something tells me that, and I understand some of these teams are like for not banning it. Something tells me that some of these teams are going to change their mind. Like I know the Lions didn't do it now. But I imagine if it happens to them, I guarantee you they'll probably flip. And then, well, you know what? Now that I think, now I'm looking at the teams that don't want to ban. Maybe it's going to be a play for the long run at this point. But the bottom line is this: the teams that wanted to ban this play, it's shameless. It's really shameless. It makes no sense. It's a football play. It's not like they're doing some kind of trick. It is literally who's tougher. Try stopping us for one singular yard, okay? 1 yard, stop us. I hated Ben Johnson's quote of, it's not very explosive. I like explosive plays. I like winning. I like first downs, okay? I like going for on fourth down and getting it because of this play. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. I think it's ridiculous. Some of the teams that voted to ban this play, man.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, you made a good point. The Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles ran this play the most over the last 3 years. They combined for 163 plays of this type, which is only and I think last year this play only accounted for 0.28% according to ESPN. Now, granted, over the last 3 seasons in which they ran the 163 combined, 121 of those was the Philadelphia Eagles. Realistically, the Bills didn't start doing it till last year, but the Bills and the Eagles combined for an 87% success rate, where the rest of the NFL was only successful 71% of the time. So it's like, to your point, it's a practiced, strategic thing that has to be done so you can actually, do the timing right. That way everyone gets into the play at the same time. It's timing based. But Matt, are you on the same vein as us where it's a football play? Why are we sitting here having this discussion at all? Why did it need to be banned outside of the fact that you really can't defend it?
Yeah, listen, I understand why NFL teams want to ban it because they can't stop it, and they're bitter and they're angry that they can't find a way to stop it because the Eagles, like Sammy mentioned, okay, you have a quarterback who squats 600 pounds, okay? Not everybody has that. I know our favorite quarterback of all time, everyone besides Sammy, Tom Brady, he certainly didn't squat 600 pounds, but you want to know what else he did really well? Do a freaking quarterback sneak. Before Jalen Hurts came in and the tush push came in, Tom Brady's probably the best quarterback sneak artist of all time, and he was getting it pretty much every single time when it was 4th and 1 too. Was everybody bitching and complaining when Tom Brady was getting quarterback sneaks? No, they were just like, oh, he's really good at the quarterback sneak. All this is a quarterback sneak on steroids that you can't stop because Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds and he's the strongest quarterback in the NFL. And like Sammy mentioned, the Philadelphia Eagles have the best interior offensive line in the NFL. So again, when you have those two things combined, it's going to be really, really hard to stop. Now, from the NFL team's perspective, of course they want to get it eliminated because it's helping them lose games to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles are dominant at it. And obviously, like we've seen with the numbers as well, Jalen Hurts, I think he's got 33 one-yard rushing touchdowns over the last, I don't even know how many seasons. I think it's 3 seasons. And then Josh Allen is second with like 13. So again, those two guys are the most, but Jalen Hurts is obviously the most. But again, This play is it's obviously a football play. Like, it's obviously within the rights of football. It's just, like I said, a quarterback sneak on steroids. And again, the first time that I really saw anything like this, it wasn't on purpose. And for my college football fans out there, you'll remember the play that I'm about to talk about. The Bush push in 2005. It was USC versus Notre Dame. It was Reggie Bush pushing Matt Leinart into the end zone in the USC Notre Dame game. And it was basically to push USC into the national championship game. Now, a lot of people were like outraged on that because apparently at that time in college football, at least, it was like wasn't allowed to, you know, like you weren't allowed to push a teammate into the end zone, like that rule that you were proposing, Joe, or like the rule that they were proposing, as like you can't help assist your teammate into the end zone. The only way you can assist them is by blocking. But that play happened. They were kind of outraged. So to me, like, even when I've been watching football up until the tush push, like I kind of assumed that it wasn't allowed, you know, like you still couldn't push people into the end zone, but apparently it is allowed. And if it's allowed, again, they're the only team who does it well. Like no other team does it well. So again, is it their fault that they're really good at something? That'd be like going to Paul Skeens in baseball. Like, hey, Paul Skeens, your fastball is too good. Don't throw it. You know, like, hey, Steph Curry, you shoot threes too well. You can't shoot threes anymore. Like, and same thing with Josh Allen and Cam Newton running like a 1 yard quarterback draw, you know, from the shotgun where they have that extra blocker and they have somebody behind them. Are you going to disallow that just because it works a lot of the time? Like, it doesn't make sense, you know, like, oh, Shaq and Kobe, you can't do a pick and roll. Like, what are we doing here? You know, like, just because people are good at something, that means we have to ban it. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, you know? So again, it's most definitely a football play, but again, the uproar is from teams who just got their ass kicked by the Eagles, or, you know, teams fans who just got their ass kicked by the Eagles. Like, get better. Like, how about that? Like, I'm tired of, and this is something that obviously I'm a coach as well, and I coach little kids. So my big thing is accountability. Like, if you're coming back to me after your baseball game talking about, oh, the umpires were so bad, like, you suck. Like, it's not the umpire's fault. You singularly suck, you know? So again, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to hold your team accountable and say, what can we do better? How about we don't lose by, like, if the Chiefs fans are arguing about it, dog, you were down 40-0. Like, shut your mouth. Like, that was not the reason why you lost the game. You lost the game because you got manhandled up front by the Philadelphia Eagles on both sides of the ball. So again, for people and teams to be complaining about it this much is ridiculous. And I'm glad that the tush push isn't getting banned. Although just from like a viewer's perspective, it's not like the most beautiful thing to watch. Like, I'm not watching Eagles game being like, ooh, I want to see the tush push, you know, like I'm not super excited to see it, you know, but the fact that they can do it and they can do it well, again, they shouldn't be penalized for that. So yeah, all the fans and teams getting outraged by the fact that the tush push is still allowed are stupid. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever. Like, just let the team be good at something. And if you want to stop it, figure out how to stop it and get your freaking team better. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Every time I see them in a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 1 or a 2nd and 1, I'm like, just give them the first down.
Yeah, I
think that's the only disappointing part about it. But at the same time, you don't want them to run it. Don't play prevent on 3rd and 13, right? You can't do that. You can't play prevent on 3rd and 13 anymore. You got to get up in there. And to your point, Tom Brady, over his career, he ran 158 quarterback sneaks, had a 91.1% first down success rate, where it was either a first down or a touchdown. Understand that, all right? 158 times. The expected points added from QB sneaks for Tom Brady, 140 in his career, cumulatively. No other quarterback of the top 8 quarterbacks from 2001 to 2020, when NFL put this stat out for him, had broken 100. The next closest was Drew Brees, who's also no longer playing. Okay? So when you start to look at this and you start to see these things of how they're doing this, right? It's no different. If you're good at quarterback sneaking, you're good at picking up first downs. If you're good at the tush push because you practice it, because you know the timing, your quarterback's able to see where the defense is going to go, be able to put the offensive line in the blocking, configuration they need to be in. All those things, you're going to be successful. Okay? Practice it, do it, be good. Or, you know what? Do what I think, what is it? Vita Vey and old boy from Florida, who were like combined for 800 pounds of human flesh, are now going to be sitting in the trenches for the Buccaneers, I think it is right now, right?
Desmond Watson is the big fella also.
Yeah. That dude, he ran I think someone said they did his weight equivalent of him running a 4.8, I think he ran, or whatever he ran at his weight is the equivalent of like a 250-pound linebacker running like a 3.9 or some shit in the 40.
Hey, he lost like 40 pounds though already, so give the man his flowers.
So he's like 397?
That's a big drop though.
Yeah, I mean, 40 pounds is
it's a big something. Big boy.
Okay. All right, man.
All right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're concerned about this, right? Get bigger. right? Find some mass, put it in there, and you know what? Hey, guess what? If they can push them through, get your linebackers back there, get them 2 handfuls, and have them push some people through, bro.
Yeah,
you can push too on the defensive side.
Find some mass, guys.
Find some mass, grab some ass, get it done. All right.
All
Fuck.
right. You know what? Wrap that up.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.